Good afternoon, future S.E.P scholars. I am Ms. Borden, and I serve as the Director for the Science Enrichment Preparation Program, also known as S.E.P, here at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Before I get started, first let me just welcome you to the webinar and to thank you so much for your interest. Hold on for just, okay, thank you. Okay, before I get into some of the nuts and bolts with the S.E.P program, first let me thank you so much for your interest. This is really a wonderful program that will help students to gain the competitive edge for successful matriculation into health professional schools. Whether your interest may be medical school, pharmacy school, dental school, public health nursing, PA, really you name it, S.E.P is a wonderful springboard to help you to have that competitive edge so that you will be admitted, successfully admitted into a health professional school, ideally of your choice. I also want to introduce my colleague. You don't see her here, but she's to my right, and she is Miss Portia Hughes. Miss Hughes is very much my right hand and provides a lot of support with regards to the S.E.P program. And so in addition to this webinar, at any point you may ask questions about S.E.P. And when you type in those questions, Ms. Hughes will be the person who will respond to those inquiries that you have. So although you don't see her, she is here in the room. And she's also really excited of the idea of meeting each and every one of you during S.E.P 2016. Now, for some of you, you may not be very familiar with our office, especially if you're not necessarily a UNC Chapel Hill student. So let me briefly give you a backdrop of the North Carolina Health Careers Access Program, also known as NCHCAP. The mission of the NCHCAP organization is to increase the number of students who are educated, trained, and ultimately employed in the healthcare professions. And again, there's a lot of diversity in terms of when I say healthcare professions, that includes medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, and a number of other pathways. So again, the mission is to ensure that those students are educated, trained, and ultimately employed in the health professions. And we really have a focus of working with students who are first generation, so students who will be the first in their families that will have earned a bachelor's degree. We also work with students who come from a rural part of the state of North Carolina. We have a focus of working with students who come from limited financial backgrounds. And finally, students who are considered to be underrepresented across the health profession spectrum. And underrepresented minority students include African American, Native American, as well as Hispanic students. So no matter which discipline that you look at across the board, when you look at especially the underrepresented minority populations, we really need to make more concerted efforts in increasing visibility as practitioners when it comes to those demographics. So again, hopefully that helps to provide you a bit of an overview of NCHCAP. In addition to S.E.P, we connect students to internships, we connect students to summer programs, both here on campus as well as off campus. I do a lot of one-on-one counseling sessions with students to talk about your grades, what you're doing well, as well as areas that you might need to improve. So again, looking at your academics transcripts and seeing what you can do to have more of that competitive edge so that ideally you're admitted to health professional schools that first go around. And I'm more than happy at any point, whether S.E.P is a good fit for you or not, just to learn more about you, your interest in the health professions, and how I can be a positive conduit in helping you to accomplish your dreams. So with that being said, now what we will do is transition into a PowerPoint that we've put together on your behalf. And again, if at any point should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email those questions to sepprogram@unc.edu, and Ms. Hughes will be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So if you give me just one moment, I'll transition to the PowerPoint. Okay, so everyone at this point should be seeing the PowerPoint. And again, the Science Enrichment Preparation Program, also known as S.E.P, is a signature college outreach summer program for the North Carolina Health Careers Access Program here at UNC Chapel Hill. Preparation. So let's focus on that area first. And actually, I'm going to go back one. It's important for you as undergraduate students to really be thinking about what you can do to stand out when it comes to the admissions process. So I say that meaning that many of you are bright and well-rounded and talented students. You've been working very hard, and you certainly deserve praise for that. However, I want you to always remember that there are bright, well-rounded, talented students not only on your respective campuses that you attend, not only when you look across the state of North Carolina, not only when you look at students across the board nationally, but even internationally. Each and every one of you are competing with other students who are really capable and competitive for that seat in your health professional school of choice. So it's really important for you to be informed about different programs that are out here to help you to have that competitive edge, and for you to apply to these programs so that you can be demonstrating to admissions committee members that you're doing everything that you can within the academic year as well as outside of the academic year to wanting to be a candidate of choice within their school. So preparation, I cannot say enough how important that is that you do that. And I will say, by you participating in this webinar is a wonderful first step. So let's talk about some of the courses that you would be taking during the S.E.P program. Over the course of the 8-week program, students take 4 core courses, and those courses are in human physiology, organic chemistry, physics, and the biostatistics quantitative skills course. And the reason why we offer these courses is because for some of them, they are really considered to be gatekeeping courses, meaning that for a number of pre-health students, pre-med students, when they come on the campus, they're excited about the idea of going into the sciences. They want to make a difference in the lives of others, and they start taking some of these general science courses, and they don't do well, right? So they may take chemistry, for example, but then they hit that brick wall when it comes to organic chemistry or physics, for example. So the purpose of S.E.P really is twofold. The first part is, if you have not taken these courses before, it's a wonderful platform for you to be able to learn the language of each one of these courses, for you to be quizzed in each one of these courses, and for you to be tested in each one of these courses, so that when you return to your home institutions that following year, you are really prepared and well equipped to be successful in that curriculum, because there's already an introductory level of understanding to each one of those curriculums. So that really gives you what, as I was referring to earlier, that competitive edge in comparison to your peers. The second part of this coursework is, if you have taken, let's say, one of these courses before and you did not do as well as you would have liked to have done in terms of your performance, this is a wonderful way for you to take the courses again and to demonstrate a stronger command in the curriculum. So again, your participation in this program and your exposure to these 2 courses are twofold. Either it's an initial introduction and you should be well prepared to be more successful in the coursework, or you didn't perform as well as you would have liked to that first go round, and you're able to demonstrate to admissions committee an increase in terms of your knowledge base. All of our faculty members have their PhDs. So, they are experts in their respective courses. Several of our faculty members also are returning. They've been with the program for a number of years, so they know the ins and outs of S.E.P. They know what you're experiencing over a course of the 8 weeks, and they really want you to be very successful. And then we also have what we refer to as program assistants. Oftentimes, you all may think of it in the context of a teaching assistant, but we call them program assistants because we have them doing other things outside of the classroom as well. But there is one program assistant assigned to each course. That program assistant will be in the classroom with you over the course of the 8 weeks. They will sit in class, they hear exactly what you hear, and they will provide additional instruction to you through the form of what we call supplemental instruction sessions. So again, in terms of really learning the curriculum and having a mastery of the material, there are multiple ways in which you can learn the material and also to receive support that you might need. So not only do we have faculty members, but we also have the program assistants. And the program assistants are also available to work with you one-on-one or in small groups should you want to request tutoring services as well. Now, one thing that I did not mention in terms of your coursework has to do with what happens after the S.E.P. program. So when S.E.P. concludes, you will receive a transcript, and it's an academic transcript from the S.E.P. program here at UNC Chapel Hill, and it will reflect how you performed in each one of those courses, just as if you had taken summer school, right? So when you take summer school, you receive a transcript that has your performance A through F in each one of those courses. You will receive the same here from the S.E.P. program. And that transcript may be uploaded to any health professional program that you apply in the United States. So that means for every medical school or every dental school or pharmacy school, for example, when you click submit, that letter of recommendation will go to every school that you've applied to. So admissions committee members will see that you not only applied to a rigorous academic program, but you also ideally were successful in terms of your performance in the program as well. So that's very significant, again, for you to be able to demonstrate having the competitive edge over your peers. Now, the picture before you is just an example of some of our S.E.P. students in the classroom. I believe that was in the School of Public Health, and this picture actually is dated by, I would say, maybe about 2 years. So some of those students that you see are actually admitted now into health professional programs, which we're really excited about. So individualized academic support. So for many students, when they learn about S.E.P. and they see it's an 8-week program, and then they're doing all these other amazing things that I'll speak with you very soon about, they think, oh my gosh, how can I balance that well? Well, part of it is to know that over the course of the 8 weeks, you will receive one-on-one career, academic, and admissions counseling from staff members. So for example, I meet with all S.E.P. students at least one time, and we can meet more than one time, to talk about what you're doing well. We'll talk about if there's some areas that need to be fine-tuned in terms of your classes or leadership experiences or your participation in clubs and various types of student organizations. And it's also just a great way for us to get to know each other. One of the things that we really pride about the S.E.P. program is creating a culture of family and support. And so through those one-on-ones, again, it's not just talking about your grades and the numbers and kind of checking the boxes, but it's getting to know you as an individual and to really learn how we might be able to support you. In addition to that, academic support comes in the form of test-taking strategies. So we partner with Princeton Review or Kaplan every year. And it's basically for you to get more kind of small group instruction on how to prepare for the standardized test that you plan to take. So for example, on day one, all of our S.E.P. students, and I'll say more than likely this summer we will accept somewhere between 45 to 50 students, are in the test prep session together. You will receive your notebooks and your respective materials from Kaplan or Princeton Review. And after that, everyone will be separated based on whichever tests that they plan to take. So for example, all of our MCAT folks are together, all of our GRE students are together, and the same goes for the DAT and the PCAT. So that's a wonderful way for you to also learn about these different tests and how you can start now as current freshmen and sophomores on preparing to be successful when it's time for you to sit and to take that test. And in addition to that, you know, what comes with the test taking preparation is also looking at reading speed, looking at how you're taking notes, test taking, and general kind of study skills, as you can see on the PowerPoint, which would include how you're managing your time. Exposure is another major component to the S.E.P. program, and it really does come in several forms. But I can't say enough, too, how important it is for you to be exposed about the health professions. It takes more than you saying, I want to be a doctor. You need to know, if somebody were to ask you, why do you really want to be a doctor? What do you think it takes to be a successful physician? What does cultural competency mean to you? What are health disparities? You need to be very well informed and versed in terms of how you communicate your passion. And one of the ways that you can do that is being informed. And one of the ways you can be informed is through exposure. So over the course of the 8-week program, you will tour all the health science schools on UNC Chapel Hill's campus. And we have a school of medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, public health, nursing. I believe I said public health. You know, there's a number of schools that we have here at UNC Chapel Hill. We also take our students to NC State School of Veterinary Medicine, Duke University School of Medicine, the National Institute for Environmental Health Sciences to learn about what research is, how do I get involved in research, and how can I effectively maybe balance my interest between research and clinical. So that also provides a great conduit for you to learn about the different health professional pathways. Now, for some students, they come into the S.E.P program and they pretty much know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they want to be a pharmacist, for example, and that's fine. For many other students, though, I would say they are exploring, or they say that they may want to pursue a specific track, but you haven't necessarily had the exposure to know about the other different options that are out there. And that's a major component to S.E.P, is that whether you know what you want to do or whether you're exploring, at the end of the day, you will understand the cross-pollination of the different health professional pathways and what that means with regards to patient care. So when you have a patient, or when you walk into a room with your patient, it's important for you to understand that there are many other healthcare practitioners that are playing a part, and a very vital, important part, to that person's quality of health. So again, that comes in the form of exposure. We also provide hands-on activities, so you'll tour these schools, and some of the schools have some fun activities that you can also participate in while you're doing that. For example, the pharmacy compounding and patient simulation labs. We also take our students to the cadaver, the anatomy lab here at the UNC School of Medicine, so that you can thoughtfully learn more about each one of those individuals that are there, kind of learn a little bit about their story, and really be able to see the human body beyond the textbook, right? So you can really be able to see it hands-on, even hold certain body parts. And again, it's just a great way for you to learn more about the human anatomy. And with the simulation lab, that will really mimic, for example, childbirth or a heart attack, or someone that might be having a stroke, or maybe you have to do blood work on a patient. So that's a great way for you to kind of experience it in a very safe environment. And finally, we have experts who will come into your classroom and speak to you about what they do and share their expertise. And certainly it's a great way for you to ask them questions as well. So the following serves as an example of two of our students who at the time were shadowing one of our dentists who we know very well. And both of the individuals who stand before you have been admitted into dental school. So we're very proud of them. So shadowing and networking. Again, exposure is so key. And so I've talked about the seminars, the tours, and having leading researchers come in and speak to you in the classroom. But that exposure also comes through the form of shadowing and networking, which means building, relationships, establishing and nurturing relationships with people here on the UNC Chapel Hill campus. So over the course of the 8 weeks, you'll have a chance to shadow health professionals in your specific area of interest. And in addition to that, will have the opportunity to meet a number of people who work here at UNC Chapel Hill that serve on admissions committee or provide administrative leadership for the various health professional schools, to meet with them. And our goal is that you will continue to stay connected to those individuals. And another platform in which you'll be able to meet professionals here on campus is through the Larry D. Keith Health Professions Recruitment Fair. Our S.E.P. scholars participate that every year, and it's a wonderful way for you to learn about the different health professional programs that are offered not only within the state of North Carolina, but out of state as well. So you'll meet with recruiters, you'll learn more about their different programs, and they're really there to recruit you, to learn more about you, to learn about your passion for wanting to go into the health professions, and talk to you about how you can prepare to be a competitive applicant at their respective institution. In addition to that, you'll have a chance to learn about the mock interview process, to see what that's like. how to finance your education. And again, it's just a wonderful kind of holistic way for you to learn about the options that are out there and to meet with professionals who can help you to get where you want to be. So what are some of the perks to the S.E.P program? Well, one of them is, if you really think about it, we provide a competitive stipend every year, and students are getting paid to learn. You know, you come, you apply to the program, ideally you're accepted into the program, and there are not really any out-of-pocket expenses that you have to pay other than the $25 application fee that we do charge all students. And then for some students, maybe how to get to getting here to campus. But once you're here, we take very good care of you. We provide, again, a competitive stipend, and that factors in 3 meals a day, as well as other small miscellaneous expenses. An example of that would be if you needed to wear a white coat when you shadow, or if you needed to buy a more professional attire. You could do that for the purposes of your shadowing rotations, as well as when you participate in the various seminars and tours. We also provide you free on-campus housing, so you don't have to worry about where you're going to stay or how you're going to be able to afford it. Housing is provided to students free of charge. And we also provide textbooks and curriculum materials, coursework materials to students free of charge as well. So I talked earlier about the 4 courses that you take over the course of S.E.P. Well, you'll receive a physics textbook, organic chemistry textbook, physiology, and the quantitative textbooks. Now, the textbooks are ours to keep. You'll return them at the end of the program. But again, in terms of anything that you will need course related, that is provided to students free of charge. Now, I've talked a little bit about some of the perks in terms of your stipend, about the educational materials that are provided to students, and I've talked about the courses and the seminars and the tours and the shadowing. But I also want you to understand that S.E.P is a lot of fun. Yes, it's about, you know, doing well in your classes and trying to gain that competitive edge, but it's about building community, and it's about developing friendships amongst your cohort. And the following is just an example of a volleyball tournament that we host every year, where the students compete against the PAs as well as the faculty members, and often there can be some really great incentives for the students to win. I won't say what they are at this time, but I would say that I always encourage you to brush up on those volleyball skills because it can certainly help you in the long run when it comes to S.E.P. But the faculty are great. They've beaten students every year, but I feel like S.E.P 2016 might be the year in which the students beat the faculty. But again, it's a lot of fun and a great way for all of us to fellowship with each other. So you can see before you too, it talks about just enjoying the summer. It's going to be a great experience again for you to build friendships with like-minded students, for you to network and to learn with health professionals, as well as administrative leaders within the health professional schools. We have a talent show that we participate in every year, where we compete against 2 other signature pipeline programs here in Chapel Hill, as well as in North Carolina, in Durham, North Carolina. And we participate in a community service day. We feel that it's very important to give back, so we participate in the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, and help with all the really kind of behind the scenes efforts that take place to make that race a success. So giving back to the community is also a major component to the S.E.P program and the fabric of our students. So program eligibility, this is really important, and it's also very important because the deadline is fast approaching. The S.E.P deadline is next Friday, March the 4th at midnight. If you feel like S.E.P is a good fit for you in terms of what you're looking for out of a summer program, please remember that you need to be currently a freshman or a sophomore to apply. So when you see that first bullet and it says a rising sophomore or junior, that means that right now you are a freshman or you are a sophomore in college. You also need to have taken at least 3 hours in chemistry, biology, or any college level math. And you can see before you the AP credit is accepted. And have a minimum GPA of a 3.0, whether that's your science or your overall GPA. And you can see what the average GPA is before you. And finally, you must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident of the United States. All these things that you see before you, these are requirements. So we're really not able to bend and be flexible and fluid when it comes to eligibility. So before you start the application process, if you have not started it yet, please make sure that you meet the program eligibility for the S.E.P program. The application is online. There is a personal statement that's required. What we require outside of the online application is one letter of recommendation that can come from anyone who knows you well, not a family member, but it could be a mentor, an academic advisor. It could be somebody that you shadowed. It could be a professor. It really could be anyone who can really talk to your character, your commitment to the practice, and who can just talk about how S.E.P will really help to benefit you and help you to grow as a student. We also require 2 science faculty appraisal forms. Those must be completed by science faculty. It could be also completed by an instructor or a TA, but again, the backdrop of it has to be that it's based in science so that we can hear more from your professors or your instructors in terms of how you performed in each one of those courses. And that form can be found online as well. We require an official transcript from any institution in which you've taken college level credits at. Financial information, which can come in one of 3 forms. It can come in the form of your student aid report. It may come in the form of your FAFSA, or it may come in the form of your parents' 1040 tax form. Any one of those 3 documents will be able to provide us what we need in terms of looking at your income as well as your parents' highest level of education so that we can verify if you are a first-generation student or not. And finally, we require a photograph, preferably a headshot of just you, so that if it's 2 people or 3 people, we don't know who you are in comparison to your friends. So the photograph is also another requirement to the application process. And again, there is a $25 application fee that you would need to pay as well. So I mentioned earlier, the deadline is fast approaching, so it's very important that if this program is a good fit for you, and we're really offering a lot of the things, the tools that you feel that you need in order to have that competitive edge, that you begin the application process ASAP, as soon as possible, because after March the 4th, we're going to go ahead and review all the applications and begin making some decisions. And as a matter of fact, we accept on a rolling admission basis. So we've been looking at applications since they've been coming in, and we've extended some offers for students to participate in S.E.P, and thus far everyone has accepted to date. So it's really important that you get your information in as soon as possible so that you can be considered for the deadline, or you can be considered for the program prior to the deadline. But absolutely everything has to be in by that March 4th deadline. And you can see that the program dates for 2016 are May 21st through July the 15th, 2016. So I hope this has been very helpful to you in learning more about the S.E.P program. Again, Ms. Hughes is online, so should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to direct them to her. You may also contact me via phone or online. My contact information is on the NCHCAP website. So please do not hesitate to contact me should you have any questions about S.E.P or the application process, or if you run into any speed bumps along the way. I'm certainly here to help. This will be our last seminar, recruiting for S.E.P, the S.E.P class of 2016. So again, we look forward to receiving your materials. We wish you the very best in the application process. And again, whether S.E.P is a good fit for you or not, please know that Ms. Hughes and myself are always here to provide support to you and wanting to help you in accomplishing your health professional goals. Thank you again for participating in this webinar, and we wish you the very best. Stop broadcast.